Uh, Afriskill as an institution, also we get to realize for those who've joined us, and that's why I started by asking, maybe we get to mention some of our expectations and also the countries we come from. Afriskill was started not because people were lacking knowledge, but because people had knowledge but were lacking the empirical skill. That is, we are in the knowledgeable area where people have the knowledge but they don't have the know how on how to implement the knowledge they have. They don't know how to turn this knowledge into impact, into the change they want to realize. And now Afriskill onboarded now to turn this existing knowledge into impact across different African countries where we've been represented. And Afriskill ain't just an institution that is going to provide you an opportunity to learn this empirical skill far beyond the theoretical knowledge we have, but also it's an approved institution with approved trainers. NITA approved institution with approved trainers, meaning even the certification that you're going to get from this institution after you complete that course you want to partake. It's an acknowledged certification globally. So it goes beyond just training you, but also accrediting you with an acknowledged and accredited certification that is there to showcase that's there to showcase that you not only have this information, but also you have this knowledge and you are certified to implement that which you have actually learned, meaning you can present it anywhere and it is recognizable. Now, in Afriskill, we have a series of programs from monitoring and evaluation to resource mobilization and proposal development, senior management courses, project management, TOTs, which is the training of trainers, public speaking, practical accounting, supervisory skills, strategic leadership, SPSS, and even advanced Excel, being some of our programs that we offer. And I know most of us here have joined to actually explore some of these programs. And I want to formally invite you on board and tell you you are in the right place, where we focus mostly in not just giving you theoretical knowledge, but also in equipping you with empirical skills, where after the graduation, you won't go outside there with a certificate that, yes, I know how to write a proposal, but you'll go outside there with empirical knowledge of, yes, I've read how to write a proposal and I can write one, as you'll have completed this course with a practical drafted proposal with even different maybe linkages to or lists of different prospective donors or grantors, so that you don't live here with an information of yes, I've learned how to write a monitoring and evaluation maybe plan, because this is something that we've read maybe in one way or another, but you leave this course having written and drafted a complete M&E plan. So these are the things we are talking about, that we are want to go beyond having knowledge to actually creating that impact. Because one thing we've realized that in Africa, and if I can mention an example like in Kenya, you could realize almost everybody is learned when we talk of literacy level, which is beyond 70%. I think it's around 83%. But then most employers complain that yes, these people they have this certification, but when you give them that task, some of them don't even know how to maneuver through that task. And that's why now Afriskill onboarded to address this issue of how can we convert knowledge towards impact. So in whatever course that you are going to partake, the guarantee that we are going to give you isn't just on giving you an accredited certification, but also is in ensuring that you are leaving that course having gotten the empirical knowledge and skill, which is far beyond the theoretical knowledge that we get from the different systems that we are in. And with that one said, Afriskill has its presence across different countries in Africa. And that's why I've said I've also seen some familiar names here, from Kenya to Uganda to Tanzania to Rwanda to South Sudan, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, just to mention some, but a few of the countries that we've had our presence in, having empowered more than 10, is it 5,000 different professionals across the country, across the continent. And we believe that we are going to share some of these experiences. We're going to share some of these stories to ensure that at the end of the day, even we bring on board practical examples which you can resonate with from any country you're coming from. And with that one said, I think then we can just go ahead and delve into now um, personal branding as one of the main seminar we have as a cross-cutting seminar across all these programs we offer, so that we get to be in a position where we get to appreciate what personal branding is and what's the
Darren,
importance of personal
control
branding.
outside, somebody call outside.
So I see Abdi, Aden Abdi, you've raised your hand. Maybe you could go ahead. Is it maybe a question, a comment? Yes, Abdi, you could just unmute and go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear you.
you can hear me?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
Adan Abdi from Kenya, and education is by profession. So I was asking, when I was perusing through the list of accredited institutions by NITA, I have not seen your organization. So just kindly give more weight or more explanation to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Aden. Yes, Afriskill is a NITA approved institution, and I want to believe maybe if you can allow maybe in the different forums as you join, maybe you can also be showcased by different maybe accreditation documents to ascertain that Afriskill is a NITA approved institution. So there's no need to worry about that, because I think you can be showcased different documentations by the institution representatives on the same, also even on some of on having NITA accredited trainers also. So that I think that shouldn't worry you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yes, for those also who didn't manage also to get to introduce themselves as we were doing the same, we can also continue doing the same at the comment section, as this also will enable me to come up with practical examples that could have almost all the countries represented. So before we start, maybe let me start by this very practical example of personal branding. I want to share a certain picture. And in these pictures I'm sharing, I want us to just tell us, what is it that comes to your mind when you see these pictures? What is it that comes to your mind when you see these pictures? So let's start with this picture here. I've shared a certain picture with us. Let's just try describe this picture. What can you tell about this person in this picture? Either whether you know him or you don't know him. But from the picture, how they present, what can you tell about such a picture? Let me hear from John. Yes, Swele John.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. I see Nelson Mandela with some other henchmen of his party celebrating success.
Okay, what
Are you
can you
getting
tell
me?
about this person you are referring to as Nelson Mandela? Is there any characteristic maybe you can describe him with?
He's an inspiring leader
Okay,
that motivates
so you
others to
see,
follow him.
thank you, John. So you see someone by the name Nelson Mandela, and the one thing you can acquaint yourself with when you see such a person is an inspiring leader, someone who can have people follow him. Yes, Nancy. Nancy, you wanted to say something. Let me
Yeah,
hear different explanation on what do you see and what do you think about it? Yes, Nancy.
Okay, thank you. I think the previous speaker has said basically what I wanted to say, but maybe I can add that I see Nelson Mandela. The lifting up of his hands, to me, indicates a victory. It indicates resilience, determination, focus, and victory. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. You've also introduced something that from the act of this person who's Nelson Mandela raising his hand, probably you see something like determination, resilience, and that is something you've gotten either from what you've heard or just from your observation of this picture. Will I be right if I say I see someone who looks jovial? What do we think? Will I be right if I say this person here looks jovial and friendly, approachable?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Okay, let's go to this other picture. I just want to share around 4 pictures. From this picture, what can you tell about this person? If you had an opportunity maybe to just describe this person to either your colleague, your friend, or even met this person, what could you tell about this person without knowing them or having known them? Yes, I see Infinix X6 855. What do you think?
He is fed.
Yeah.
He is? Yes,
Hello?
he is. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead
this is
kindly.
Emmanuel. This is Emmanuel Pine from Liberia.
Yes, Emmanuel, what can you tell about this person in this picture?
Well, this guy, he looked like a corporate guy sitting in a private jet, displaying luxury.
Okay. So it looks like a corporate guy sitting in a private jet, and it's someone who enjoys luxury or who's displaying luxury. So it looks like someone who has lots of money.
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me hear from Christopher. Yes, Christopher. What can you tell about this picture?
Yes, he strikes me as someone who's self-assured, someone who's confident, and who has presence, as announced by his dress code. Thank you.
Okay. A self-assured person with confidence. That is a very good observation. Now, let me hear from two before I take us to the next picture. Let me hear from Franco. Franco, what can you tell about this picture?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
From my observation, this person seems to be an introvert. Someone who seems a little bit hard to approach, difficult to work with. Thank you.
Thank you. So from the image, probably this person looks like an introvert, someone who's hard to approach, and probably difficult to work with. Okay. There's a picture here. Let me hear from Dr. Malik. Dr. Malik, what can you tell about this individual in this picture?
The previous one or this kid, the one laughing?
Or this one? You wanted to describe this person?
Yeah. For this, for the kids, it's yeah. This is the person I'm trying to describe.
It's okay. Start with this one
person,
and then we go to the kid.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Raymond. There are two things that we can see from this person. Number one, this person is not like the previous person we have seen, like Nelson Mandela. This person in a public view, it can be termed as a security individual. Is in control of situations. Is telling people that it's not there to entertain. His business is to make sure the surroundings is taken care of. That is different from what we have seen from Mandela. Mandela was there for the people, and he was very easy, is approachable, and is a leader. This person is a leader by his representation, but is not a person that you can approach. When we come to the kid is excited, is happy, is enjoying the environment that he's in, and is welcoming the touch that was given by either a mother or a sister based on the picture that is here. So number one, the environment that the kid is in is very entertaining, and also she's excited with the person that is standing next to him. So I've seen here somebody who have secured the environment and is happy with the situation that is in.
Thank you, Dr. Malik. So for this kid, we are talking of a jovial individual. Okay, let me also hear from Dominic. Dominic, what can you say about this picture of this child or this person?
I think the child is happy.
Yes, Dominic.
The child is happy despite the situation. Yeah, and happiness doesn't depend on the situation one is in.
So can I say this child looks approachable?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 2 pictures remaining. Let's talk about this picture. There's another picture presented. Let me hear from Mutale. Mutale, what can you say about this picture? Kindly unmute.
Okay, yes. When I look at the picture and study the features of the face, this one looks like strikes me as a very focused individual, one who is into reflection and who is very much focused on what on the environment and engaging, but less of a talker and more of an observer. Thank you.
Okay. So in this picture, you are looking at someone who's maybe presenting an observant, less of a talker. Okay, let me hear from Samsung SM. What can you tell about this picture? And then I bring the last picture and I tell us, why have we done all this? Samsung SM?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, from
my
what I'm
observation,
seeing,
I see this person or this man as maybe he's focusing on something, he's observing something which is now in front of him, like or a situation like is happening.
Now, in personality wise,
that's all.
Can I say, or let's can I? Thank you. Will I be right to say this person looks poor? What do you think?
He looks very sad.
He looks very sad. Will I be right to say he looks troubled?
Very sad.
Yes. He looks like there is a desperate situation, uncertainty.
He looks like maybe
not approachable.
Court of law has been convicted from the court of.
He looks
Not
convicted.
to
Okay.
approach.
Not
he
approachable.
actually don't look
Yes.
poor, but he looks stressed. He looks stressed.
Can you trust this person to do something for you? If you are
No.
presented an opportunity to onboard a staff, can you trust this person to do something for you?
Not easily. You can, but not easily.
He can, but not serious stuff. Okay.
No.
Now, this is the last picture. And then I'll ask her something. What can you tell about this picture?
Barack Obama.
I've heard is Barack Obama. I've heard is jovial. What else can you tell?
Easy to approach.
Okay, an approachable person.
Yes.
Yes.
About which one? The previous or this one of Barack Obama?
This one now. This one of this individual smiling.
Full of wisdom.
Full
Former
of
president of,
wisdom.
I can see the picture
Okay.
of a former president, very
Uh-huh.
jovial and fulfilled. He looks fulfilled and confident. He's not fearful. He's confident in his skin, and it's like he knows what he's doing. What he's doing is right. So it's a person who
Okay.
is fulfilled in his achievements.
Okay.
He
Thank you.
is
Thank you. Will I be right if I say he looks like a, or he is a good orator? He is very
Yes.
eloquent in. Okay.
So,
What else can you
He's
say?
also smart.
hello.
and glowing.
He's
He's
smart.
health.
Okay.
He
He's
looks a
healthy
happy
and
soul.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, have you seen we've done something very important, which is going to
Yes.
cover everything we are going to do today? And that thing we've done is we've branded these people with knowledge of who they are or who they are not. We've looked at someone, we've said this someone looks luxurious, they look like they have money. This other person looks jovial, they look approachable. This other person looks sad, looks conflicted. And can you trust me if I tell you 90% of the people around you, whether you know them or you don't know them, they've already branded you. In that workplace, in that social circle, there's a certain pattern you could realize that if people have trouble, they are inclined to go to somebody, it might be you, just to, as a confidant, or to ask for advice, irrespective of whether you are the human resource or you're just a mere staff.
Joseph.
And that subconsciously is saying something that you are already branded with or without your knowledge. You walk into a room, by the way you present as you walk into that room, if something happens and you see people are running towards you, or they're asking you, what do you think can we do? Can you believe if I tell you that in itself is branding? That people brand you in your presence and in your absentia. And this is what I want us to appreciate even as we start this course, this seminar, that even to understand what is personal branding. How can you take the control and say, I'm not going to allow people to brand me, but I'm going to guide them. I'm going to be an architect of how I want them to actually brand me. And then also we get to go even further and ask this question. That is, why is it in the same office with two people with the same qualification, or even one with higher qualification and another one with a lower qualification, it's easier to find that person with a lower qualification being promoted, while you who's qualified and very competent being skipped? Does it mean that office is corrupt? Does it mean that person well presented themselves than you are with your capabilities? What does it mean? Because from the example that we've done, you've realized we went beyond these people's qualifications. We went beyond these people's qualification, having been not aware of what their degrees are, what their diplomas are, what their masters and their PhDs are. But we said this person looks like someone who can deliver. And this person looks like someone who's approachable. And why am I saying this? Because these soft skills that actually play a major role when it comes to branding before we go to the technical skills, they lay a foundation of whether you are well positioned for your next promotion, whether you are well positioned for the next opportunity, whether you are well positioned for taking that position you've wanted. And these are the things we want to talk about. Because when we were defining these people, assessing them, and bringing about different of their characters, most of the characters we actually looked at were the soft characters. This person looks jovial. This person looks approachable. This person looks conflicted. This person looks like someone who is in control, who's luxurious, who can solve a problem. This looks like someone who's familiar with money. This person looks like a freedom fighter just because of the picture they had of raising their hand. And that is what branding is. What do people say about you in your presence or in your absence? Before we get to look at the roadmap of how can we take control of this? How can we position ourselves? How can we build that trust and credibility in our skills? How can we communicate value? How can we have presence that already speaks without us opening our mouth? How can we attract opportunities without necessarily chasing them? How can we brand ourselves? That is the one thing I want us to talk about. Because even if we go through all the programs we are offering, at the end of the day, the way you brand yourself is the only way that now will attract another opportunity, is the only way that will attract that promotion, is the only way that will safeguard you in that workplace you are in. And this is what I want us to cover today. So let's look at as I've said, this reality check. Where you are not struggling because you don't have the skills. If it comes to the skills, you are very competent, very qualified. You are not struggling because you don't have the eloquency. You are a very good orator, very good knowledgeable, very good at individual with good technical know-how, with good experience. But then that lack of visibility, it deprives you an opportunity to thrive in the market. Because skills, as much as it's good, it's not enough. You could be very surprised in the person we've said you can't trust them because of how they look. You could be very surprised in that whole spectrum to realize that is the most learned there and is the most experienced there. But because he's working in an organization targeting children as street children, because of that, he was requested to dress in a way he could not scare them away. In a way, he could make them feel like they belong as he tries to onboard them to this program or this organization he's running. But because you looked at this person and you said, I can't trust this person. This person looks confused. This person looks afflicted. This person looks poor. You denied that person an opportunity. And you get to see, yes, they had the skills, but because of how visible they were, they missed the opportunity. And most of us could attest of that you've been in that office, or you've seen a friend of yours or a colleague in that office, and they've been there for the past 6 years. They've never been promoted. But someone who was hired just 3 months ago has already been promoted to the supervisory position. And then you ask yourself, what happened? Is it that these people are not appreciating me as a staff? What happened? Let me give another very good example. If right now you are a team lead or you are a director in an organization, and then you identify a certain problem, and you want to brainstorm on some of the solutions on how to mitigate such a problem. So you call your team for an impromptu meeting. And in this team, you ask them, we've realized we are not meeting our targets as an organization or as a business. And I'm trying to assess and see what is the challenge. And as you ask this question, you realize there's someone there called Raymond in that team of 7 people who keeps on responding and raising issues, who's saying maybe this community is reluctant in embracing us because of maybe what we stand for, or our logo as an organization, or our color. They have a certain myth, they have a certain belief, maybe they don't understand what it is that we do. And you realize within 20 minutes, this person called Raymond has actually responded to almost all the questions you're asking, not with the right answers or the wrong answers, but he has responded. And somehow he has even prompted some of these people to respond to some of these questions you are asking. And you get a call calling you to a certain stakeholders meeting, and you are required to select a team lead to continue facilitating this discussion for you to find a mitigation, for you to find a solution. Out of these 16 people, who are you inclined to pick to be the team lead to facilitate that discussion to find a solution in your absentia? Who do you think might you be inclined to pick? Are these 15 people or this one Raymond who has been actively engaging? Let me hear from us. You can just raise a hand. Okay, Aden is saying probably might be inclined to pick Raymond. Before I ask why, let me hear from Franco. Franco Mwaka, who do you think might you choose to pick?
Yes, thank you. Definitely, I will choose Raymond.
And
And
why
if you
do you
ask
think
me
you
why,
choose Raymond?
Yes, I think Raymond could be analytical because he's trying to look at every possible angles to the cause of the poor performance or underperformance. And he's looking at them from different angles, right from the stakeholders and bringing it back to the implementers. So he could be the right person to lead this discussion to find out more as I step out for the other engagement meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Franco. Yes, Abdi, why do you think you'd pick Raymond? Because I've seen you've said probably you might pick Raymond.
Hello. Raymond,
Yes.
I will pick him because he is engaging. He's also a team player. He's also very active. He can be an asset to the organization. Something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What if Raymond is the least experienced there and the least qualified in terms of academic qualifications? Let me hear from us. What do we think? Still, you will
Yes,
pick him.
we will pick him because of the branding and what we expect of him and the way he's very active and what he can bring to the organization. Thank you.
Thank you. So you'll still pick him because of how active he looks and what is it seems like he's capable to bring to that organization. Let me hear from Maria. Yes, Maria. Yes, Maria, what do you think?
Yes, I will pick Ramsom. Sorry for the pronunciation. Simply because he's outspoken, and I believe that leadership is not about being educated, or as long as you can approach, you are visible, then yes, and that's how you are, I think.
Okay, thank you, Maria. So leadership is beyond qualifications. Let me hear from Samuel. Samuel Chisala. What do you think? Samuel Chisala? As Samuel tries to find... Yes, you've unmuted. Go ahead.
Like Leah said, you are approachable and you can deliver.
Okay. You'll still pick Raymond because he looks approachable and he can deliver. Okay. Let me hear from, I see a very good friend of mine here, but I can't tell the name because this name is very complicated. Yes. Before I give Infinix. Okay, Infinix, go ahead.
Yeah, Raymond will be selected because of his experience. One, because in most cases when we are looking for people to bring on board, we tend to save a lot of costs. So in doing so, in saving a lot of costs, you will always bring people with experience that are outspoken, are team players, in order to save a lot of costs and reduce a lot of teaching sessions that will bring bread into the institution.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, will someone else be right to say this person called Raymond, he is this name in Kiswahili, if someone can understand it and tell us, it's called kujipendekeza. Will someone be right to say this Raymond is like he wants to be loved by everybody or by the director, and that's why he's actively trying to engage? Yes, Nancy?
Yeah,
Or
I
he's
would say
bragging?
he's actually not bragging, but I would say that he's a go-getter.
Raymond is a go-getter.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do we have anybody with a contrary opinion to that? Yes, Da Vinci. Yes, Da Vinci, kindly unmute. You haven't unmuted yet?
Yes, mimi naweza sema si kujipendekeza.
Okay.
Kwa sababu
Can I
the
contribute?
person is... Can I continue?
Okay. Yes,
I
continue,
cannot say,
please.
I can say it is si kujipendekeza kama inavyotumika katika lugha ya Kiswahili. Mtu ambaye anajipendekeza ni mtu ambaye anadadisi mambo ambayo si ya manufaa. But Raymond is looking at the situation from a positive perspective of in making sure that we get the solution of the challenge that is facing the organization. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. So Raymond is not self-flattering, but he looks like he's someone who wants to help the organization. Let me hear from Okech and then Mutale as I continue now. Yes, go ahead. Yes, I saw Okech. Okay, let me hear from Mwaka. Yes, Franco Mwaka.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really beginning to enjoy this conversation right here. This reminds me sometimes back when I joined one of the NGO, and I happened to have a time with with my manager, and then I had joined when a colleague had just left, and he told me something that you saw that colleague of yours who just left. He was like a guy who was everywhere. He wanted to show himself everywhere. He could just speak up, but when it comes to delivering the project deliverables, writing reports, and all that, he was nowhere to be seen. He was actually very poor, and the project was really suffering because he could not do some of these technical things, but he was always there. Whenever he was asked to do things, he was there. He was outspoken, and he was presenting himself everywhere. But when it comes to delivering it, he was. So I don't know. This one is again making me think: could Raysom be placed in that category, or there is also another aspects of him, as most of us have been saying, could be true. So I'm just wondering now. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. And we are going to respond to that. But the reason as to why I've raised this question, and you brought a very important aspect of branding, which we are going to address, because we are going to look at how branding also can be induced through credibility. But the reason as to why I've asked this one first, it's because I wanted us to look at something. That is, opportunities follow visibility. And then visibility presents you an opportunity to showcase your qualification. Because from the responses that we've given here, most of us is actually, from what I was expecting, maybe some of us to ask is, what is the qualification of these other 15 people? But none of us asked that. I was expecting maybe someone to ask, what is the experience of these other 15 people? But none of us ask that. I was maybe expecting for someone to say, who among us, these other 15 people, has been working in this program the longest? But none of us say that. And this in itself is responding to that example I said, that you've been in that organization for 10 years, but someone onboarded the same organization for 3 months. They've been promoted to become your supervisor. They've been promoted to become the project officer. They've been promoted to become the team lead. And you ask yourself, why? It's because visibility attracts opportunities. And branding is not bragging. Branding is not bragging. Why? Because at the end of the day, amongst the 16 participants, 90% of the directors will have chosen Raymond to be the team leader, irrespective of whether he's the most qualified or the least experienced. Because Raymond has showcased he is the most approachable, that is one. And secondly, he has showcased he is a team leader or is a team player. But most importantly, he has showcased goodwill. And you get to see, here is where the confusion comes in when we talk of branding and bragging. But then we're
Raisom, we can't hear you. We've lost you.
I think he's having network glitches. He has dropped off. He has dropped off when the session was very even interesting.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully he gets back online as soon as possible.
Otherwise,
I hope he
session your side.
realizes this.
Yeah, the conversation is really getting interesting. We need
Rango.
Yes.
How did you approach it? How did you respond to that question when you are asked about your colleague?
What could I say? Nothing. I just listened, but I probed. I asked more. Like I asked a lot of questions just to find out where he was not going on well with the board, so that I don't come and make the same mistake.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes. I find this quite interesting and yeah.
Please, for people to mute their mics. Mute your mic if you're not talking.
And then, ish, yeah, it's like there's a lot of noise, but the background noise out there. So I'm just from Lesotho, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then I know there was a lot of suspicion in the group, and a lot of people were somehow skeptical and reluctant to follow this. And I, for one, was so skeptical at some point. But the way I could see some of the things happening, then I was able to see right now the way Mr. Raymond is explaining this. Now, even if you were doubting, now eventually you get to understand in a split second whatever that we have discussed for now. Wow, 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 wow. You see there is light at the end of the tunnel, and many have seen it. And I think us too, we are just going to see this light. In a space of 5 weeks after the completion of this course, I think we are just going to be able to broaden our horizons. Really, I am quite impressed.
And I think when we dive into the real M and E, we shall really enjoy. Because now that is going to be
Yes.
the epic of everything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me apologize. I think my vendor has done that thing again. There was a little glitch in my internet, but it has been restored. Sorry for that. So I don't know where exactly we lost me as I was elaborating on how you can actually now bring about visibility without necessarily looking like you're bragging. Maybe can someone try bring me forth to where exactly I got lost, or I just pick it from there?
I think you were saying that we did not ask about the other 15 people, their qualifications and their abilities.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And this in itself, actually, for those of us who are partaking senior leadership, who are partaking management, who are partaking M&E, you'll get to realize something which you'll get to pursue even as you'll continue with that course. That is, leadership oftenly, before they look at the technical skill, the first thing they assess is the soft skill. As soft skill, they play, actually research says that 67% of senior leadership appointments are determined by the soft skills. They get to look at, for you to lead this organization, for you to lead this group of diverse individuals, do you have the right skill to address a conflict when one comes, to be approachable, to build a good positive culture in the workplace? And you get to see, this is the thing we've actually proven from the example I've given. That is, 90% of us will go with Raymond, who has showcased to have these soft skills, and we won't ask for the technical skills from the 15 others. And that in itself is one way of saying that during that specific time, Raymond was busy branding himself, while others, somehow, they felt like if I talk, it will look like I'm bragging. If I say this, it will look like I'm trying to actually present myself as a know-it-all. But to Raymond, he was branding himself. And that's why 90% of us chose to say that irrespective of whether Raymond has the right skill, he can facilitate a discussion from that one person who has the right skill to give us a solution. When a project officer is chosen to lead a team of accountants, of health experts, for example, counselors and for example, economics. It doesn't mean the project officer has the qualification in those. It just means the project officer has showcased the skills of how he can bring on board different professions to address the one common problem that the organization is looking forward to address. So let's look at then how can we now. Yes, I see there's a hand raised here. Yes, Dr. Malik. Yes, Dr. Malik, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. There are two things that we need to understand from our friend Raymond, who has been a leader. For you to be having a personal branding, you have to master two things first. One, you have to be very good at communicating. Also, two, you need to be very familiar with who you are talking to. And these are the two things we need to know from Raymond himself. Sin is the one seems to be presenting the whole group, present the group because he's a very articulate in his communication. Even though you might be new, but his approach to the leadership is well understood, and people try to seem to understand him much more clearer than the other team members. That is the one component. The other component is his relationship with his boss. Will be another thing that we also need to know from Raymond. That himself might be as somebody who is close to the boss, and he needs to know that this company is there for them and is here to grow to become a leader in that company. So this is what I want to add into
Thank you, doctor. That is very true. And you get to see, these are the things we are talking about. You go to different workplaces, different institutions, facilities, organizations, hospitals, and even agencies and establishments. You realize people have started to grow a certain form of remorse, or even I want to call it, they are demoralized because someone is saying, I think this organization is corrupt. I've been here for 2 whole years. But then they've chosen to promote this someone who just came a month ago. And I want to give it out as a practical living testimony. Because me starting to actually offering different consultancy services regionally and locally at different USID then organizations, it wasn't because I did an interview or I was well known by those staffs. It's just because one of these stakeholders meetings they had, I raised very practical questions. And then someone called me and told me, what do you do? I told them I'm a consultant. And they said, we have this issue. Maybe could you just come to the office? And they gave me a card. And you get to see from that practical example, what am I trying to say? Is I branded myself within the little time I got. And the little time I got, I branded myself as someone who could help them address specific problems they are facing at the community level, at the regional level, and at the country level. And because they saw it, they chose to say, this person, what if we have time to sit down with him and maybe see, is he in a position to help us address some of these challenges we are facing? So let's go beyond now building that confidence because we are qualified, because we have the experience, and even we have the ability to deliver. Go to a workplace, you'll realize something. That is, different people will write the report. For example, even now, if I were to put us in a group of 5 and I give us a task, you'll realize that all of us will write the report that is supposed to be represented, but we'll pick one, meaning in that group of 5, first the way these people will represent themselves within that group, one person will brand themselves better to look like the one person who can deliver or present these findings from that group. So irrespective of what we've done as a group, we'll identify one person, and this one person will tell him, represent us. Other people could say, we've seen all of us five have different skills. What if each one is given a certain part of the representation to actually represent the group? But there's a group that will pick one person to represent their findings. And now he who is sitting to assess the findings won't look at the group of five, but he'll look at the one who's representing. Get to look at that scenario in different workspaces where you are doing the work, but once you do the work, you submit the work for someone to represent. And these people oftenly they are selfish enough not to give credit where due. I'm doing the presentation of the performance of this field office, but I'm not saying we actually did this because the field officer managed to attain the key performance indicators on time. But I'm saying we attain this because of the ABC and D we did. So with omitting the credit to the relevant person, if an opportunity comes, he who did the work at the field level won't be recognized, but he who will be promoted is he who did the presentation. And you could say that there's a little bit of biasness and favorism, but he who did the presentation was intentional because he wanted to brand himself. I've seen donor-based organization where a team is formed to be writing reports, but then they are not acknowledged at the report. It's the project officer who writes that, who signs down there that prepared by Raymond Mukaya, project officer. And you get to look at that organization a month later, a year later, probably another organization from the main donor or grantor or the partner will poach this project officer, having known that this project officer is well informed to actually write good reports, not knowing these reports were written by a team of professionals. Could you say this project officer was selfish? Or could you say this project officer was willingly branding himself as the person who can write a good report, as the person who can deliver? And these are the things we are talking about. That we will pick Raymond not because he's qualified, not because he has the experience, not because he can deliver results, but because he's recognized, but because he's visible, but because he showcased very well that he can lead that team. And that is the painful truth that we have first to make peace with when it comes to personal branding. So how can we now move from having other people brand us to now becoming the architecture of what we want them to talk about when they hear our name? As we've said, the reality is the market does not reward just visibility. The market doesn't reward just qualification, experience, and technical know-how. The market rewards perception. The market rewards visibility. And the market rewards positioning. And that is what branding is about. You might be the most hardworking person in that office, but you are rarely recognized. You do everything, even you work overtime. You work even at night. You have the certificates. You have the experience. But anytime the director or the organization is calling someone to go represent the institution at a certain stakeholders meeting, you shy away from that. And then they pick this someone else who doesn't work overtime, who doesn't have that certificate, but who every now and then is the one addressing challenges when they come up. He's the one communicating to bring about good work culture. He's the one who looks like they're the one committed to actually want to see the organization stand. And the harsh reality is, irrespective of whether they don't have the technical skill, they don't have the certification or the experience, they'll be picked. And when they are picked, you'll be so surprised, they'll pick 4 or 5 of you and they'll ask you to form their presentation slides document so that they go present it in that stakeholders meeting. And you'll do it because they've tasked you to do it, which is very good. You're a team player. But then once they go there, let me ask you, if an opportunity for promotion, let's say if the director who's currently present has gotten a greener pasture, a greener place, and they are moving on, who probably can the committee choose to take over the position of leadership in that institution? Is it you who has the technical know-how, or is it he who was actually bringing all these skills together to have you write a good document for them to go and present? Competence doesn't equate to opportunity. Competence doesn't equate to opportunity. Opportunity is brought about by good visibility, is brought about by good perception. Perception is instigated by credibility, and we'll get to look at how. And good positioning. Good positioning, what do we mean by good positioning? Good positioning is you what you are pursuing. And because you know what you're pursuing, let's say I'm in this organization and the one thing I'm pursuing is the leadership position. And that means I have to present myself as the right leader. And that's why I've asked us as something that in that workplace, knowingly or unknowingly, you'll realize people are inclined to someone anytime they have a problem. They'll come to someone and say, I don't like how somebody's treating me. I'm not feeling okay. And you ask yourself, we have a human resource. We have a person who's actually assigned to address these things. Why do you guys oftenly come to me? It's because I've branded myself as a trustworthy person, as a confidential person. They know that I can tell Raymond anything and I'll never hear it somewhere else outside there. Raymond will never use it against me. And do you know how this comes about? It's because one person chose to come to you and confided in you. And because they confided in you, 1 week later, they've realized you've never spoken to anybody. They can trust you. And then a friend of theirs has come with a certain problem. And they've told him, you can talk to Raymond. Raymond is a good person in that office. If you talk to Raymond, he can help you. And he won't go share your problems outside there. And before you know it, everybody in that office knows that if you have a problem, you can talk to Raymond. They could offer you the moral support and the social support, and they won't go and whine about your problem outside there. And that becomes your brand. Some of these things I'm talking about, they've gone beyond now people talking about you to people giving you a name. Go to different offices. You'll realize they've given different people a certain name, and that is their brand. But then, what if now then we choose to become intentional of we don't want them to give us the name we don't want, but we want to be the architecture of this brand. We want these people to say, if you want that problem solved, pick Raymond. If you want that problem solved, pick John, pick Abene. If you want that issue tackled, pick Hamed. And because it's you who are intentional, you designed that system for you actually to be identified as a problem solver. And how do you do that? How do you do that? It's first by choosing not to be silent. And let's not confuse speaking up to speaking every time. You can choose not to be silent but speak on the right time. Because highly skilled professionals, they've always remained unseen. They've remained invisible, not because they are not qualified, but because they are not known. And those who are visible, you realize they tend to dominate the different opportunities that are there. So these qualified individuals who are silent, they miss growth, they miss opportunities, and that is the price they pay. And every time you are invisible is an opportunity you are losing, is an opportunity you are throwing away. How can you go beyond being silent to now being visible? Is when you're in that meeting and they say, we want somebody to write a proposal for us, or we've had an issue with funding, we might let some of us go. And then you approach the director, you tell the director, you know, I can help us write a proposal. I have that skill. Actually, one of the skills I have is I not only have a technical know-how, but I have a qualification on resource mobilization and proposal writing. And they say, can you maybe can you form a team and help us write these proposals? Maybe we submit, and before you realize it, you are in the proposal or resource mobilization team of that organization. So you are moving from just being a mere staff or a field officer to being a resource mobilization team, and that team incorporates or it includes the project manager, the chairman or the patron of the project, the finance officer. And before you realize it, you find yourself in a committee of the people who decide who are we going to promote, who are we going to demote, who are we going to send outside there to go and present us. The organization is going to lose a donor because the donor every now and then keeps complaining, you guys don't report on time, you are writing very poor reports. For example, you don't have a system that ensures accountability, transparency, and efficiency. And then you approach the project officer, or even in that committee, in that feedback meeting, you say, why can't we come up with a good, comprehensive M&D system? Because some of us, we have those skills that could define key indicators, key performance indicators, and assign key different roles to specific individuals. And this could ensure timely remittance or timely submission of reports, and also could ensure key performance indicators have been realized on time. And the project officer could ask, Raymond, you seem to have a very good knowledge on how to maneuver this challenge of poor work culture. And you say, yes, I can help. I can help develop a good M&D plan. What is that? That is you branding yourself. Anytime they'll have a problem, they'll say, call Raymond. Anytime they'll want to come up with a good with another project, they'll say, call Raymond. Call Arop. Let him come and help us develop a system. Let him come and help us develop a project. You see, what if, for example, a good, maybe even government representative, partner, or donor is coming, and they need you to go represent them. And the director or the project officer could say something like, pick Mohammed, let Mohammed go represent us. We see him as a good orator. Every time we have a meeting, we see him present good ideas, and not only present them, but present them well with clarity and precision. Have him go represent us. I was in a certain organization, and every time they were having a different stakeholders meeting and they wanted beneficiaries to go represent. These are the people now who are going to showcase the impact of these programs. Actually, we could pick people randomly, but not just randomly. We could pick people because in the different forums, in the different workshops, we've seen these people communicate clearly, with clarity, with precision, without fear. And when we pick these people, they go outside there to present the organization to the stakeholder. And without realizing, one day you realize one of the people you picked was actually identified with the stakeholder or the partner or the funder as an ambassador. Now they've become an ambassador of the project impact to represent the project at the county level, at the national level, and they are now on a payroll. Why are they on a payroll? Why did this opportunity identify them? Because they branded themselves from something as simple as just us seeing them as good orators. And we gave them an opportunity to go present the organization at the stakeholders level. And from the stakeholders level, the donor identified them and said, yes, it's you we've been looking for. Now be our ambassador, represent us at the government level, so that we get to inform the policy reforms. These are the things we are talking about. Now, let's look at this other thing very fast, within 20 minutes before we adjourn today's session. Within 20 minutes. So the power of statement. That is, your brand is not just what you say about yourself, but it's what people believe about you. If right now I ask you, tell me, who are you? You'll say, hello, I'm Raymond. I'm a happy person. I'm approachable. I'm very jovial. I like reading. But the question is this. If we go to these workmates whom you work with, can they say this about you? Can they say this about you? And how can you now influence their decision to describe you the way you are describing yourself? It's because of three things that you'll want to do. It's consistency. You want the company, the organization, the institution to say, yes, if you want a proposal written, go to PAMAC. If you want a conflict to be resolved, go to Chibale. If you want, for example, this to be addressed, go to this person. The only way you can have that done is by first being consistent. Do it the first time. And once you do it the first time, do it the second time. Don't stop it there. Do it the third time. And now do it every time. Because if you do it the first time and people say, yes, actually, I am here because Raymond mentored me to be here, you'll feel nice because people will start identifying you by how you want them to describe you. But then do it the second time. If you do it the second time, you'll feel better. And now keep doing it. Eventually, in that community, you'll hear people say, if you want someone to mentor you, to become a good entrepreneur, I'd rather you go to Raymond. He has mentored several people in this community. And that will be your brand. You are an entrepreneur mentor. If you want somebody to help you with that data analysis problem, for you to understand how to maneuver Excel, go to Chibale. Chibale will guide you. And then once they come to you, you guide them. Another second person comes to you, you guide them. Eventually, the organization is having a problem, and they'll say, why can't you have Chibale help you? Before you realize it, you've moved from being a project officer or from being a field officer now to being a data officer in that institution, because they're saying you are the one who knows how to maneuver this system, to being an M&D officer, to being the senior leader in that office. And this consistency is what builds that brand. The reason as to why you picked Raymond to become the team lead is not because Raymond had the most experience, but it's because Raymond kept raising those issues and responding to those concerns. That consistency branded Raymond to you picking him as the team lead. And also, as you are consistent, be visible. You know, there are people who are consistent, but nobody knows about them. Nobody knows about them. Be visible. Speak out. Don't pay the price by your silence. Speak up. One day get an opportunity to actually stand in that committee. That one day say, actually, I'm so happy that the reports we've been sending have actually helped us secure 3 new partners. Because in these committees I've been in to help write these reports, I've actually seen them yield. What have you communicated? You've communicated that these reports, they were not just written by the project officer, but I was part and parcel of that team that was writing this report. Because the project officer has been selfish enough to give credit to me or to that report or to that donor that yes, we've achieved what we've achieved because of this team. Speak up. That is not bragging, that is branding. But speak with professionalism, speak with decency. You know, there are people who want to speak up, but then instead of speaking up right, they speak up it's like they're bringing war, and that in itself could be identified as a as not being a team player. And most importantly, build credibility by bringing result. These people will say, yes, you are the data analyst in this office, because every time they give you an issue, you showcase result. They'll say, yes, we want to promote you to become now the field officer from being an enumerator, because every time you are given a task, you are able to bring forth result. That is how you build your brand. You become consistent, you become visible, and now you always strive to bring result. And that is the power of branding. Now, how do you position yourself? Very quickly, identify who you help and help them achieve a certain result through a specific method. What do I mean? It brings about a clarity on the niche of what you can do. You see, branding is not you doing everything. Branding is you picking that one thing that could set you apart. Branding is not you being the office puppet where everybody comes to you. But branding is when someone is stuck, more so when it comes to conflict resolution, when it comes to stakeholder engagement and collaboration, they'll say, hey, call Gandhi. Gandhi is very good when it comes to addressing issues at the community level, because the community is not receptive to this project. Identify a niche, identify who you help, what exactly you help on, and have a track record of results, and identify a method. People will say, yes, Raymond will talk to those people. We know him. He is very good in talking to those people. And those are the things we are talking about. So that brings about the clarity and the focus. And not only that, it brings about the authority in that specific niche. Where if you are called to address a certain problem and someone is trying to question you, you'll realize people will be whispering to that person, do you know who you are questioning? That guy is the one who helped that organization. It was supposed to be chased out of that area, that community. Do you know this is the person who designed the strategic plan we are using as an organization? Do you know the donor we have right now? We have him because it's this person who wrote that proposal. You saw that authority. It gives you a certain form of authority. Without that authority, without that clarity, your branding is weak. And why is it weak? It's because you've given the power to the people outside there to define you by what you are not associating with. So if you're consistent, if you're clear, if you're credible, then you're building a brand. The same way we've looked at the picture of Barack Obama and we've said Barack Obama is a good orator because everywhere he spoke with clarity and precision. We've said Barack Obama is a motivational speaker, is a motivational leader because he's the one who came up with the slogan, yes, we can. And he found a very good way to bring it out, even in places where people wanted to give up. That consistency is what branded him. And that consistency is what promoted him to become a president. Nobody knew about him. But during the campaigns, he came out with a certain consistency. And when he was given the opportunity, he delivered. And that's why people keep on talking about him. And that is what we are talking about. So this is what we are saying. How do you bring about clarity? If you're given an opportunity to present yourself, don't say, good afternoon, I'm Raymond Mokaya and I'm a project officer. You see, there's no clarity in that. It's so generic. And if an opportunity comes, people might not identify you with your qualifications and experience. But what if we say the same way I introduced myself, that good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm Raymond Mokaya, a project officer, delivering in community impact with a specialty in monitoring and evaluation. I want to believe I'll bring on board actually over 10 years, over 7 years of experience as I've worked with different organizations within this area. What have I done? I've showcased my expertise. I've showcased the value I'm bringing. And most importantly, I've focused my expertise to one specific thing, that is M&E. That is where I have a specialty in. That is community engagement. That is accounting. That is where I have a specialty in. So people will understand who I am. They'll understand the value I bring. And from there, they'll start branding me, because I have chosen to be the architecture of how I want them to identify me. So anywhere they'll meet me, they'll say, that guy there, that guy is a very good financial analyst. Not because they've seen my work, but because I identified myself, I defined myself, and I showcased the value I can bring through the different experiences I've had. And it means subconsciously, I branded myself in their heads. And that is what branding is all about. So even as we are going to partake the different courses, let's know that that skill you're going to gain, if you brand yourself right, that office you are in, if you brand yourself right, then you're positioning yourself for that promotion. You're positioning yourself for that opportunity. And you need to find a balance between skills, visibility, and credibility. As oftenly we just focus on skills. That I have these skills, but nobody knows. That I have these skills, but you don't have any track record to showcase. Let's now go beyond that, because credibility and visibility builds trust, but skills, they graduate you now to actually bringing the technical expertise. If people don't see what you're doing, then they can't trust you. If they can't trust you, then they can't choose you. And if they can't choose you, then you can't be promoted. Then you can't be chosen for that next opportunity. And that is why branding is very important. So even as we adjourn, the one thing I'll tell us is that people don't see you just by what you think you want them to see. People see you by the history. People see you by the consistency that you've built. And that is what builds the trust. And if they can trust you, then they'll continue choosing you. And if they'll continue choosing you, then you'll improve in your visibility. And that's why there's this pyramid. Don't start, because most people, they start from the top of this pyramid. Don't start from the top. Start with that social circle you have, that internal circle. Let them know your impact, because these are the people who will become your advocates. These are the people who will become your ambassadors. These are the people who will speak about your experience, about your qualifications outside there. These are the people who will tell others, if you want this done, go to this person. If you want this done, go to so and so. And once you work on building impact and credibility and consistency on your internal circle, now it will grow to your professional networks, because now they'll start referring you outside there. And once they refer you outside there, then the visibility will expand now to the public through now a given thought of leadership, where you'll go somewhere and you'll realize people know you and they've never seen you. Actually, other people will start asking for you. Can we get his number? You'll get a phone call from an institution you've never been in, asking, hello Raymond, we've gotten actually your number from a certain place, and we've seen what you're posting in your LinkedIn page, in your Facebook page, in your Instagram page, in your, for example, a TikTok. We've seen the impact you're bringing as an organization. Can we partner with you? Can you come and help us maybe address a certain problem? And then now here you are starting to give them your quotation that yes, I can do that. Now you just need to cater for my transport. Now you see, it's going now beyond. It's going beyond visibility, trust. It's bringing opportunities. And now these opportunities are bringing income. And that is what branding is all about. So I've talked about branding at a personal level as an individual to as an institution. Brand that organization. Brand that institution. Brand yourself. Brand that agency, as this will bring about the opportunities which will eventually increase the income as we've talked about. With that one said, up to there. Do we have any question, any comment, any concern before I take us through the closing remark as we adjourn today's session, and as I'll continue to invite us to now on board in the programs that we offer at Afriskill, an institution that is built to try and ensure we bridge the gap between knowledge and impact. Yes, Charles.
Oh,
Yes, Charles. Yes.
Georgie, can I talk before him?
Yeah, actually,
Hello.
this next one is very important for us because in different organizations we do believe that we do have different employees, different juniors, of which do able to scrutinize or to write a report. But when it comes to issue of presentation, it's very difficult. Others are better on providing presentation, while others are better to write a report. So this topic is very important for us. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you. Before I respond to that, yes. Let me hear all of them and then I'll respond. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. No, I don't have much to say. The only thing that I can say, you, what a presentation, this is something that we never anticipated. I have indicated earlier that people were somehow reluctant and skeptical, but I just want to also make you aware that you have made a crystal clear presentation, very informative, very constructive, as you were well grounded on your ground when you're just presenting here. And with that, I would like to say words are not enough to also say we thank you for this golden opportunity at the presentation, and assume this one is just a free presentation before we get deep into details. I can also preempt the future that is awaiting ahead of us. And with that, I want to promise you, and I want to encourage everyone who is in this group that sooner or later justice will be done. Sooner or later, we will just be exposed to the world of endless possibilities. Only today, Mr. Raymond, only today, my mind is open, and I can see things the other way around. Wow, what a presentation. May the showers of heavenly wisdom rain on you in millions of liters, for only then may the sky be the limit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is really kind of you. Thank you. Yes, also I see Edward and then Mutale before I respond to the other question. Yes, Edward.
Yeah, thank you so much for the explanation. There are a lot of things we have learned, but specifically, I would like to understand, in a team, everybody have their specific role to play. Now, in this team, my area is to do the technical work. But then based on the structure of this organization, the team lead is to present the work we have done, or the technical work we have done. Now, in this case, how can I make myself known when I'm not the team lead to present our work?
Thank you. I'm going to respond to that with the first question as well. Let me hear from Mutale. Yes, Mutale.
Thank you very much. I would like to begin by congratulating the presenter. They have articulate, well-researched, and the presentation has been very eye-opening. And I'm looking forward to more engagements with the Afriskills. I just want one particular appeal. This being an open lecture, everyone, is it possible to avail the notes so that we can continue interacting with them as we continue to learn? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, we'll get the notes and also the recordings. It will be shared. It will be shared to us. Okay, then I think then I can go ahead and respond. Yes, Da Vinci.
Hello.
Yes, Da Vinci, kindly go ahead.
Mine is just a request.
Yes.
That tomorrow, when we are going to do another lesson,
yes,
that you can make a recap on the last part. It is so important that I want to capture that part of. I was taking my notes. Let me check that part. The positioning formula. So as we get another opportunity, you can make a recap on that part so that I get to understand that it is important to the environment that I'm working. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kindly, I'll just allow one so that I get to respond. Yes, yes, Albert.
Thank you very much. And the presentation was very, 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 very essential. And it really shows, as my brother said, or colleague, it is an eye opener. Just imagine it. I've been in this shoe we're in. The organization I'm working on, I went there. I was as a part-time lecturer, but based on the positioning of which I brand myself, have been transferred to the IT department, looking onto the essential, the impact in which I create in the ICT department. So I'm seeing this one as a very, 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 very related presentation, and I believe this is one of the best thing we need to do is for us to be having this topic, especially personal branding. So I'm making a request. I do not know if there will be a way at which I have to talk with the university heads of which I'm working for us to have virtual lecturing with you or booking a time with you. I'm really, really impressed of this presentation. I'm really, really impressed because I relate this presentation to my own position and also looking it onto new graduates, how new graduates can seek the opportunity in terms of positioning themselves, branding themselves in terms of interview and even in the workplaces.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Albert. Yes, there's a way, and I want to believe you're going to be responded to by our coordinator in regards to that and maybe even guided further.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, well.
So I want to believe that is it. Yes, Nor.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I have joined now the class. Previously, if I'm not wrong, I was in the advertisement. I see we are learning practical accounting, right? Am I
Yes,
wrong?
yes, yes. Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
So,
This
so
is a
I don't see any accounting discipline here. So
it's okay. It's okay,
what's
not.
the problem? And also you have already noticed that the time is limited or
It's
for 4 weeks.
okay, no. Thank you, no. Thank you, no. This was a promotional branding session for all the programs. So all of us who joined, this was actually an open seminar where we were taking us through an introductory session that cuts across all the programs we have. As I said, one thing, we are moving beyond having knowledge, having the know-how to actually bring about the impact. And one way to bring about the impact is now getting to know how to position yourself, how to brand yourself as a personal accountant, how to brand yourself as an M&D expert, as a senior leader, so that an opportunity does not pass you by. Now, also to respond to the questions that we've been asked. Now, let me start with, there are several tools we can use to actually brand ourselves and position ourselves within our workspace and outside our workspace. Let's go beyond just having a CV. That's why I've started with an organization where a prospected partner, grantor, or donor reaches out to you just because of the visibility you've showcased through the newsletters that you've enlisted them in your, for example, in your organization list, or the social media visibility showcasing the impact that you are bringing as an organization at an individual level. Let it go beyond the CV. Let's start with even now the presence, like using social tools like the LinkedIn, where now you are actually positioning yourself as a professional, showcasing some of the impact, some of the publications you've done, some of the experiences you've had. Like I'll say, for example, almost 30% of the consultancies clients I get is through the LinkedIn. Now, also another thing I can say is, in a workplace, as also we've been told, you could identify someone through the jobs and responsibilities as assigned by the contract you are given. You are not the one responsible for presentation. And here is where the visibility, for example, that's what you believe. Here is where the visibility comes about. Visibility doesn't come when you skip the job duties and responsibility. As we've said, visibility comes about in consistency. What do I mean by consistency? This is the work I do, and this is the work the organization knows I do. It's data analysis. I do the data analysis, then the project officer does the presentation. But anytime the project officer doesn't have an understanding, they come to me to help them understand that data. Anytime they are stuck, they come to me to understand that data. Now, when an opportunity presents itself, like for example, an opportunity where we have a stakeholders meeting, and in the stakeholders meeting, some of the participants are maybe the donors, the partners, the beneficiaries, the government representatives. You are given an opportunity also to do the presentation of the data, where you are at, where you are heading, and defining some of these key performance indicators. These are some of the opportunities that present themselves. Why do these opportunities present themselves? It's because now even the organization has identified you as a consistent individual who's capable to deliver these results consistently. And they've built that trust in you that if we give you this opportunity, then you'll present as well. Now, let's look at it also in terms of how big and complex your organization is. I know of an organization where you could realize almost all the data officers, they tend to actually inquire from one individual who's also a data officer within the same rank in that institution. But when they are stuck in their WhatsApp forum or even at an individual level, they reach out to this individual, ask him, how do you do this? How do you tabulate this? How do you, for example, analyze this data? How do you, for example, do this ABC and D? And this guy could guide them. And eventually, without knowing, this guy was now actually promoted to become the M&D officer within that institution, from being a data officer at the field level to being the program M&D officer. now to be compiling the data, assessing them, and streamlining them before reporting them, for example, to the stakeholders. This is just one way of presentation. That is visibility. As I've said, let's not skip this pyramid. Start with the internal. Start with the internal. These are the people around you who could become your advocates, your ambassadors, who could speak of your capability to the others out there. Start with the internal. Let them know this is how they can define you. Let them brand you. And then from this internal, now it can expand to the networks. Networks is, this is the institution I'm working with. But now there's another institution outside there stuck. And sometimes they could consult me to help them do that activity for them on my free time, because they've seen how well I've mastered this at my institution. And now from there, now it goes to the public. The public now is those people who don't know you, who've never heard about you. But then now they start getting acquainted to your work, either through your social media visibility. Social media visibility could be the LinkedIn, could be the things you share in your Facebook, could be the things you share in your statuses. You see, there's someone you could just look at their profile, look at their status and say, these are professional in this field. Those are the things we are talking about. And also now, as I conclude, when we were talking of now the action plan, the action plan starts by you first getting to know who you are. Get to know your skills, your strengths, and your weaknesses, as this now provides you an opportunity to know what you need to improve on. There's someone who's onboarded on this course to learn on public speaking, not because they're not good public speakers, because they've known anytime they're given an opportunity, probably, to speak publicly, irrespective of whether they have the technical know-how, they stutter. And they want to know, how can we enhance the skill to become good public speakers, so that when an opportunity presents itself, we ace it. You see, once you know who you are, what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, then also you can come up with a strategic plan on how to improve on your strength, on your weakness, and how to retain your strength and be consistent on it. That also plays a role. And optimizing, as I've said, of these different platforms, be it's the social media, be it's the networks, optimize on them. And most importantly, if you have a social account, come up with a plan of maybe posting weekly. Share insights of data analysis. Share insights on how to win stage frights. Share insight on how to help organization come up with good M&E plan. Share insight on how to do accounting, on how to win grants. Share insights on how, for example, to do data streamlining and ensure data quality when it comes to data management, analysis, and presentation. Get to have a way that these people outside there, let me call it the wild, can get to know about you without necessarily you submitting a proposal or a CV to them. Because if you are visible, then some of this opens opportunities to them to reach out to you. Brand yourself, because that is what personal branding, both at an individual and at an organizational level, is all about. With that one said, we will help you even with that course you've chosen, to help you get that empirical skill, and also to inform you how to brand yourself within that skill, even as you continue now to pursue that career with us, to bridge that gap of knowledge and impact with us. And with that one said, let me take this opportunity to thank us for our time, to thank us for our participation, and most importantly, to thank us for trusting us. For those who are joining us again, thank you so much for choosing to continue to trust our services. For those who are joining us for the first time, you are in the right place. And for those who are thinking of expanding, the good news that there's an institution here that is meant to empower you, we thank you for that, and we welcome you to invite those others to join us as we are in this journey of bridging the gap between the knowledge and the impact. So thank you so much, and and Kamara. Yes, Kamara, you've raised your hand. Is this the previous hand?
There
Albert?
is a previous